While the world was asleep in an easy peace, explosions echoed across the Middle East. What once was a cold rivalry between Iran and America was now heading toward something far more dangerous. For years, tensions had been building. Iran's nuclear program, its regional influence, and its revolutionary ideology had placed it directly in the crosshairs of American strategic interests. Washington accused Tehran of secretly advancing toward nuclear weapons capability. Tehran denied the allegations, insisting its uranium enrichment was strictly for peaceful energy purposes. Diplomatic agreements that once carried hope began to collapse. Sanctions tightened. Military presence increased. Warnings turned into threats. Threats turned into action. Then came the strikes. What began as calculated pressure soon transformed into open confrontation. Military targets were hit. Retaliatory responses followed. They are filled not only with missiles but with fear. This was no longer just a political dispute. It was a clash of power, ideology, and global dominance. News headlines across the world flashed red: Iran versus America. Markets trembled. Governments held emergency meetings. Citizens everywhere asked the same question: how far will this go? Because once a war between giants begins, it rarely ends quietly. And the world knew this was only the beginning. Then came the day that changed everything. Sirens screamed across Tehran's skyline. Fighter jets cut through the darkness. Explosions lit the horizon. And in a single calculated strike, history shifted. The most powerful figure in Iran, the supreme leader, who had ruled for decades, was killed in a coordinated aerial attack targeting high-value strategic locations. The news spread like wildfire. Shockwaves rippled not just through Iran, but across the globe. For 36 years, he had been the symbol of resistance against Western influence. To his supporters, he was a guardian of ideology. To his enemies, a strategic mastermind who challenged global order. Now, he was gone. Iran declared national mourning. Streets filled with grief and fury. Black flags rose above government buildings. Chants for revenge echoed through massive crowds. But beyond the emotion, something far more dangerous had emerged: a power vacuum. Who would lead? Who would control the military? And most importantly, how would Iran respond? This was no longer just retaliation. This was about national pride, survival, and legacy. And when a nation feels humiliated on the world stage, it does not stay silent. The balance of power in the Middle East had shifted overnight, and the next move could ignite something far bigger than anyone expected. With the supreme leader eliminated, Washington stood at a crossroads. Official statements framed the strike as just as a necessary action to prevent future threats. American leadership argued the operation was designed to dismantle strategic command structures and stop nuclear escalation. But behind closed doors, debates were intense. Was this a decisive blow that would weaken Iran permanently? Or had America just triggered a long, unpredictable conflict? Military advisors pushed for readiness. Naval fleets repositioned. Air defenses across Allied bases were reinforced. Intelligence agencies monitored every signal, every movement, every whisper of retaliation. Some policymakers believed Iran's leadership crisis would create internal instability. Others warned that it could unite the nation under one powerful emotion: revenge. The White House faced a difficult calculation. Should they escalate further to completely cripple Iran's military infrastructure, or pivot toward diplomacy before the situation spiraled into a full-scale regional war? Global allies watched carefully. Oil markets reacted violently. International organizations called for restraint. America had made its move, but in high-stakes geopolitical chess, removing a king does not always end the game. Sometimes it starts a far more dangerous one. Inside Iran, emotions burned like wildfire. Grief, anger, humiliation. Iranian leadership declared that retaliation was not optional. It was a national duty. Missile systems were activated. Military commanders appeared on television promising consequences. Strategic allies across the region signaled readiness. For Iran, this was not just a military attack. It was an assault on sovereignty, identity, and decades of ideological resistance. This conflict had transformed into something deeper than politics. It was now symbolic. The battle of pride. A battle of survival. And possibly a battle that could redraw the map of power in the Middle East. The world now waits in silence. Will this escalate into a global confrontation, or will diplomacy emerge at the final hour? No one knows, because when two powers refuse to step back, history does not whisper. It explodes. The smoke has not cleared yet, and the war is far from over. And now the question isn't who fired first, question is who will fire last. If this conflict turns into a full-scale war, who do you think will dominate, Iran or America? Comment below. I'm reading every single opinion.